Friends, welcome to episode 292 of the Noclip 2cast. We're here with the full crew. Frank Howley, how you doing? What is it, T-minus how many days until Japan? You're going to PAX though before you go to Japan, aren't you?
Yeah, it's so weird. PAX is always it always felt like it's like the end of August. So I told all my friends months ago, like, yeah, I'll go to PAX. And then when I looked at it, it was like, fuck, it's like September 4th. So I leave for Japan, I think like the 7th. I don't know. I just found out there's a curry festival on 9/11 in Japan. So I can't wait to celebrate 9/11 with curry in Kabukicho.
Wait, so is it always on September 11th?
I think it's just always like a weekend. Like it's in Okobe. It's in like Okobu Park, which is notable because at night that's where all the lecherous friends you can make are hanging out there. But during the day they have like ramen festivals and but a curry festival sounds awesome. So I'm excited.
I want to hear about this lecherous friends.
So like I remember seeing a post. It was like it was like Tokyo News or something. Where it was like a warning. It was like government officials are saying, please do not go to Okobu Park for prostitution. It's like the densest place. But they like advertise it.
Yeah,
like don't
like
come to
opposite.
this park. So it's like what the hell?
Does the Streisand effect not exist in Japan?
That's what I mean. I saw that. So now I know what Okubu Park is. But
wow, it's where you go for curry and hugs. Lecherous hugs.
Live editing that statement in the middle of the sentence. You're like, oh shit, how do I get out of this?
Hey, we're sex worker positive over here. We're progressive people. We love curry. We love 9/11. Hey, never forget to bring milk when you go to the curry festival, Frank, because it might be too spicy for you. Do Japanese people? I don't associate Japan with spice so much.
Yeah, usually usually spicy isn't that extreme over there. People I feel like people don't like spicy. But curry, you know, I think this will be a place for spicy food.
You can't go wrong with curry. Although you can only eat a certain amount of curry. And I don't think I've ever mixed curries. I don't think I've had two different types of curry in the same evening. You know what I mean? Is that dangerous? Is there too much apothecary going on in your belly when you do that?
I don't know. I'll have to find out.
He's going to have to find out, folks. He's going to have to find out. You'll be making some friends in that park when you're shitting in a bush. No caps. What's your favorite curry?
I don't know. We'll get the one that comes in the cubes at the store. It's like 5 cubes. Like, what is it, golden curry or something? Does that count?
That's the best one.
Yeah, okay. I think I like the second
you just
spice
boil it in
level.
Water? Okay.
I don't remember.
Is it like you just boil it in
it's
water?
Like a really
You're not
concentrated.
A big curry head?
No. I mean, I like it, but I haven't really experimented.
That's fair. I lived in London for 5 years, so I was, there's a huge Indian community there. And Pakistani community making all manner of delicious treats that blew my completely pepper-resistant Irish mouth apart. Jeremy, do you have a favorite curry?
My go-to used to be lamb vindaloo.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of my zone. Pumpkin curry with kaboka squash. I love a good pumpkin curry. Like a masaman curry is good. I don't know. I would say like a Japanese curry is probably number one with a bullet for me.
That's where you go.
Yeah, you could put anything. You could put little bits of cardboard in a Japanese curry and I would still eat it. Just like anything could go in there.
Love that cardboard curry. Write that one down, Frank. That's a freebie. Frank's going to be all over the place, and we're going to be all over the place here on Noclip. We're coming in on the start of our. This is the final podcast actually before we start up our 10-year celebration month. The final month of Noclip's first decade starts on August 12th, ends on September 12th when Frank is rolling around in a Japanese hotel because of all of the delicious curry he's eaten. We will be celebrating 10 years over here on Noclip, and we've got bunches of stuff, videos, documentaries, loads of stuff hitting that month to basically talk about the past 10 years and look to the future. We put up a video. I edited and produced a video for our patrons over on patreon.com/noclip, kind of talking about what the future is going to look like. We're making some sort of, I would say, fundamental changes to the way we operate, just in terms of, you know, the load-bearing wall of so much of what we've done here on Noclip for the past 10 years. Has been the sort of go to a studio and interview a bunch of people and then make a retrospective about a game that came out relatively recently. Obviously, when we started doing that in 2016, that was a very new and disruptive thing. We were able to get access that nobody else was able to. And 10 years later, the world of video games coverage is very different. The world of video games is very different. And for a multitude of reasons, we're going to be moving away from that for the next, well, I don't know, for the next 10 years. We'll see. We did get thrown a curveball halfway through these 10 years, which meant that we couldn't go to any studios for a couple of years there. But yeah, I talk more about it to the patrons. We're going to come out publicly and kind of tell everyone what that looks like. I could not be more excited. There are 1,000 different things that we have not done over the years. You know, Noclip, when we started, Jeremy, like, you know, we talked about how it was supposed to be about the people who play and make games. And I think what happened was a lot of studios opened their doors to us, especially after the Doom doc. And then we sort of had our pick of the litter, and we kind of doubled down on the studio doc. But there were so many aspects of video game culture that we've not touched upon or barely touched upon. Like we did the Hillbilly Agenda, Grand Theft Auto Online doc. That's kind of the only doc we ever did over, you know, how many videos are on the channel? 130 that we did that was about players. We never touched game preservation, really. We did one on the Maid at one stage, the Oakland Video Game Museum. You know, games coverage, video game stores. Like there's so many different types of stories out there that we haven't touched upon. So yeah, personally, I'm really excited to explore that and to film them in a much more different way than we have done in the past as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like there's also like sort of pivoting mentally towards that. I feel like there's ideas that emerge out of sort of more ordinary docs that we would have done. Like I Local Thunk is a bad example because he would never appear on camera, but I always thought it'd be interesting to do a documentary with Local Thunk, but never talk about Balatro, and just talk about but he talked about before making Balatro that he used to just make all these like simulations and stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to just do a documentary on like Local Thunk's weird world sim stuff that he did before. But it's like if you're just like, yeah, we do studio docs, then there's just the big shiny studio doc in front of you, and it seems like the obvious choice. I think pushing ourselves to think a little bit outside the box will yield some interesting stuff, because those weirder docs are less attractive. It just takes a little more sort of like work to figure out what the shape of the narrative is. It's very tempting to just be like, oh, they had an idea for a game and then they made it and everyone loved it.
Yeah, we've interviewed thousands of, you know, maybe not thousands, but probably about 1,000 developers by this stage. But almost all of them, not all of them, but almost all of them are within the confines of their employer. And these days, you know, AAA development especially is in such a weird place. On Noclip 2 here, you know, we're covering the indie space and the underground space in a way that I think works. Like, I don't think doing retrospectives on these games is the best use of everyone's time. I think covering these games when they come out, when they need eyes on them is the best way to do it. And we like to celebrate games of great, interesting development and design here on Noclip 2. But yeah, when it comes to the way in which we can sort of peel back the veil on the world of video games, you know, interviewing developers as they are, as individuals, you know, pushing back on this idea that they're just cogs in a machine that can be replaced by some stupid AI shit. You know, there's so many different ways of doing that. I was at a GDC earlier this year, and I bumped into, not GDC, DICE, and I bumped into Lisette Teacher Montgomery, who we interviewed years ago. She was, I think, art director at Double Fine, or at least one of the projects there. And she has a great career in across the games industry for a long time, and local enough. She lives in Oakland. And I was asking her about the game they're working on, and she was telling me about the process she was going through for making the characters, which is that she sculpts them. She like sculpts them out of clay. and then scans these stuff in. And she's a, a 3D artist, but like, she was like, yeah, it like helps me get in touch with the physicality of the character and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, in the past, it would have been like, okay, when that game's out, then we'll, we can, do a retrospective, and then there'll be a bit about the sculpting. And it's like, fucking, why not just do the video about that part? Like, that would be an interesting thing. Or like, I'm going to be at QuakeCon this weekend. If you see me at QuakeCon, by the time this podcast goes up, I will be at QuakeCon. Come say hey. If you spot me around, I'll be filming stuff. And like, I filmed there 2 years ago and interviewed Marty Stratton and a bunch of people about QuakeCon. And it was like, took me a long while to realize, no, the video is not interviews. The video is going to QuakeCon. And like, I interviewed a bunch of players while I was there as well. And it was more handheld and sort of, in the moment, and filmed topless Quake 3 with the A2M crew and all that sort of stuff. But I just had it in my head that I needed to do these fucking talking head interviews. You know what I mean? And I think we've done enough talking head interviews for a lifetime. So yeah, people are, I get into more of the nitty gritty on the Patreon. We're not done talking about video game development, of course, but there's a broader canvas there, and it's about time. I think, I think 10 years, doing the work for 10 years and finishing on what we promised people. I think it's really important to me, at least, that we showed consistency and that we were devoted to the project. But 10 years, it's a decade, it's a quarter of my life. Let's evolve this thing and make different shit. So I'm excited to get back to QuakeCon, film more stuff, and no sit-down interviews probably, and produce something for that. And then we have a bunch of other amazing documentaries in the pipeline. Our Cyberpunk doc we've been working on for a long time, our second series on Hades 2, if you will, and some other bits and bobs that, we're talking to patrons about. So please, patreon.com/Noclip, and you can go check out that update video where I spill more beans. Also, excuse me, while I'm here, one of the videos we're putting up is going to have input from our patrons. And I also want to extend that out to some of our podcast listeners here. If you'd like to be in a video on Noclip, that's part of our 10-year anniversary celebrations, you can send us a video, record on your phone. Please do it landscape if you can. Some people did portrait, and we'll figure it out. But answering 3 questions. If you could tell us your name, where you're from, if you could tell us what your favorite Noclip documentary or project is, and if you can tell us why you like our work. For the patrons, we're asking them why they support us. But, if you don't support us over on Patreon, then, it would be great to learn what it is about Noclip that you like. If you want to record that video, send it to podcast@noclip.video. We're pulling them all from there. And we'd love to get your input on that video as well. We've got a bunch of fun stuff we're going to be throwing out there. Yes, and I guess last bit of housekeeping is our amazing Battle Pass holders. Large double-double, Charles Atkinson, Brian Baru, Yush, Dwayne the Rock Lobster, Anthony Thomas, Nico Passeteri, It's a Me Ferrario, Senator Armstrong, Redredge, Harry Flanagan, The Other Wes, Arno, Matt Pearson, Mark Rojas, Quote, Tucker Morgan, David McGarry, Goddison, Sven Huster, Pez, Bone Mold, John Akers, Tim Robinson, Forrest Brewitt, Dark Insanities, Eric Hamilton Schneider. I just said his name wrong this week. That'll be good. Eric Hamilton Schneider, Christoph Fatui, Grizzly Mug, Cameron Ladd, Zachary Snader, Alex Goucher, George Sikotis, Jacob Godserve, Anthea Jen, James Med, and Ryson. Thank you all so much for supporting us as Battle Pass holders over at patreon.com/Noclip. Should we talk about video games?
Yes, please.
Well, there's one video game that almost all of us have on our list here. We actually recorded a video that's over on Noclip 2 right now that you can go check out. It's a game called Big Walk. We did a preview on it. House's latest friend slop adventure. What do we multiplayer mist people are calling it. They're calling it lots of things. A social sandbox. What it is very cool. We did a preview of it on Noclip 2 a couple months back, and if you go over to Noclip 2 now, you can watch myself, Jeremy, No Caps, and would you believe it, one Jesse Garasha bounce around, kind of pick up where we left off in that preview and play some more. The video as it is right now is only half of what we recorded so far. because I was up all weekend editing it because it's fucking 4 perspectives as we walk around the beautiful world of Big Walk. But Jeremy, why don't you start us off here? Big Walk, what did you make of it? The time we've spent playing it for yourself during a thunderstorm, which was messing with your internet, which was very funny.
Yeah, it's a really interesting game. I feel like its brilliance is sort of its simplicity. It's so easy to explain what it is, but it's done so elegantly and in such interesting ways. Essentially, it's just walking around a big map with very little direction and just sort of like interacting with big like art installation puzzle things. And in that regard, it feels quite familiar to people who've played like any of these kind of hangout-y co-op games. But I think what makes Big
or
Walk
even a game like The Witness, maybe,
Yeah,
something
for
like
sure.
that, you know.
Yeah, it is very sort of like The Witness with friends, but more whimsical and sort of like cartoony. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's just so much. It feels like everywhere you go in this game is just answering the question, like, what would it be interesting to do with your friends? It's constantly putting you in scenarios where it's testing your communication, your capacity to communicate with each other, and sort of like how you overcome obstacles together. So one of my favorite examples of this, I feel like in this discussion we won't say how too many puzzles function, but I feel like to explain one of them specifically I think is important. So this will be my one. There was one where there were 4 rooms. Each one of them had an intercom, and each intercom only goes to the subsequent room. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 talks to 2, 2 talks to 3, 3 talks to 4, 4 talks to 1. And we all had to coordinate a 4-piece puzzle to which each person had one of the clues. And it was very funny because it went around one time, and then everyone pushes a button when they're done. But it's like it has to go around more than one time, so everyone's pushing the button. Or Jesse was the only one with the full code, and he's just pushing the button, waiting. And I'm like, I only have like fucking, I haven't gotten any information. I'm just sitting here like conveying. So I get on the intercom and I'm like, hey, tell whoever can talk to fucking Jesse that like it was just like this fucking comedy of errors that arose.
Yeah, Jesse at one point as well, because it's kind of like telephone, but there's something about being in the room, like because this is like prox chat.
Yeah.
It like completely changes everything, right? Because you can't just like talk to somebody right there. And when you're in the room on your own waiting for the intercom, it's such a weird pressure situation where I remember thinking, I better like make sure I'm listening. Don't get distracted because like Jeremy's voice might come on and I might miss the start of what he said and I won't be able to like message him back saying, can you say that again? So, and like the audio, I don't know what you call it, like the way in which the audio is propagated within the world. That room felt like it was insulated. You know what I mean? It felt quiet in a way that was so uncomfortable. And then the thing that happens is if anyone opens their door to go back out to the atrium, it basically resets the entire puzzle, and everyone's doors open. And at one stage, Jesse just like was impatient, I guess.
Just opened the door in the middle.
He just
of
came
the
out and goes,
puzzle.
"What the fuck are we doing?" And it's like it just hadn't gotten to you yet. Like just wait.
Yeah,
It's
you're last
okay.
in line. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it kind of just clicked for me. I feel like the game design of Big Walk is so fascinating to me because there's sort of like this threshold of assumption of like capacity of the types of things you can do in a video game. So if you hop in a multiplayer video game, you usually, you hold a key on the keyboard and now everyone on my team can hear me. A lot of what Big Walk does well is it isn't like adding things on top of that threshold. It's pulling back from that threshold in interesting ways by limiting things that are sort of quality of life things you take for granted in video games. It creates interesting emergent social puzzle solving by limiting your capacity to communicate with each other. There was one thing where Danny like couldn't see anything and we had to coach him through a puzzle, just yelling at him. It took so fucking long. It was so funny.
I have never had so much stress. There was like a head, like a mask that you put on, and Jeremy had it on first, and I was like, "Oh, that's really funny." And then I don't know how it happened, but like somebody put it on me, and basically in the game, because we're all wearing headsets, right? Because you have to kind of when you're playing a game on a microphone. And the minute that the head, the mask, whatever we call it, like a helmet, like mask, I don't know what you fucking call it. It's like a big fucking thing goes over your entire head. It basically like looking out, it wasn't dark. It was just like so insane Gaussian blur basically everywhere. So you could kind of make out colors. So you could, but if you really thought, you could be like, maybe that's a wall, but you couldn't really see anything. And also the like audio went like that. So like I could only hear like Noclip's talking to me through a loudspeaker. What did you have? It was like a loudspeaker
megaphone
or something?
Yeah.
A megaphone. And then I could barely hear Jeremy and Jesse. I could hear them like kind of whispering almost because it was like so muffled, And I don't know how long I was in there. I was freaking out by the end.
It was a long time.
It was
took
long, felt like 10 minutes or something.
10 minutes, yeah.
I don't know. I was the one that was like giving you instructions. So it's kind of me and you like had to really focus, and I had to be like, okay, turn left 90 degrees. Now walk forward one step. And I was just like, please don't mess up.
And your voice was like a lighthouse in a storm for my mental health in that moment. I was like, anything, it created such a crazy dynamic because I felt completely powerless. And I had the like social pressure of like the further this went on, I knew if I did something wrong, it was going to like reset the puzzle or reset whatever, So everything you said, you know what I mean? It's like, I would have done, it's like the way like, I think like troops think about their commanding officers. I was like, I'll just do whatever Noclip says. And because I need her to get me to the end of this puzzle because I need to get this fucking helmet off my head. And it was so good. And at one stage I clicked and I moved with my hand and I knew I was holding something and I was terrified that I dropped it, but I couldn't see if I dropped it because I had the thing on. So I started like shaking around and like jumping or something just to make sure that you could see that everything was okay. And I don't think you noticed or knew because how could you? Like I was just like shaking my guy's head around or whatever, but I was like freaking out in there and then hoping that when I got to the end of that area that I hadn't just like left the thing on the ground somewhere because it was like, you're going to have to coach me the whole way back and get it. It was so good. And when it came off, I was like, like I felt such relief when I could see and hear things again. I've never experienced that in 40 years of video games. It was such a bizarre, unique thing. And that's the one of how God knows how many puzzles are in this game. Like 100? Like there's so much cool stuff in there. There's just a lot of clever
ideas about constraining. It's basically like every puzzle feels like they're like, what if we took a very, very simple thing and just invented a bunch of clever ways to make it incredibly inconvenient. And then it's you and your friends scrambling to be like, how can we overcome the quality of life inconveniences that they have like artificially constrained this with. But it's like, it is funny, like the sort of like, it's like colorful and whimsical and cute, and like the puzzles are kind of like smooth single color topology. Like everything reminds me of like a puzzle you'd see at a pediatrician's office, and it's almost mocking you because like the puzzles are so challenging that you're like screaming at your friends, but all you're really doing is like sliding the thing on the wire in the fucking kids' doctor waiting room with each other. And they're not
so like
funny.
puzzle. It's not like you're doing Sudoku or like, you know, not that that's particularly hard, but it's not like, I mean, maybe they get more difficult later, who knows, but it's you're right. It's more like you're being asked to do something relatively simple, but then they're saying, now hop on one leg while you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like tying your hand behind your back, fry an egg, but you can only use one hand. You know what I mean? Like those obviously isn't in the game, but like that conceptually, you know, one of the ones in the video is like you have to press buttons, and the buttons that you press are based on a panel that's in a different room. And guess what? You cannot talk to that person because the room is soundproofed. So how do you figure out how to do it? And the four of us, I think there was like 3 or 4 different solutions that people said. Some based on light, some based on movement, some based on number. You know what I mean? It was so cool. It's just like this interesting constraint. Also like darkness. Like darkness in this game is so powerful, and also so is like getting away from your friends because the voices don't travel that far. So like sometimes you can just get isolated and lost, and you have to like figure out a way for people to find you or for you to find your people, or like like the amount of times we left a piece of equipment back in some puzzle, and then we're like, oh shit, I wish we had that flashlight. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't see anything. But then sometimes that helps because one of the, things is lit up or whatever. It's so smart. The whole thing is just so smart.
It also reminds me a little bit of it's a very pure form of game design, because like when people think about game design, they often think about like systems and numbers and scores and like systemic, like more complex technical definitions of game design. But game design is a very like natural human, like a natural extension of like human behavior, like in the same way that play is, where like kids at recess will be like, we have a like a jungle gym. And now, like, there's a gap between these two things. The floor is lava. Just these very simple, like, tweaking of rules to make things inconvenient and more interesting to overcome.
Totally.
And it feels like Big Walk is just doing that on, like, the most professional level ever. Like, Big Walk to me feels like someone invented a bunch of crazy shit to do at recess with your friends or something. It has this sort of like jungle gym, like not like juvenile, but like youthful quality to it, where you're just like running around. You're like, oh, can we like get only walking on top of the monkey bars? Can we make it from here to here?
Right.
It's creating all these interesting constraints on just like normal behavior that turn them into interesting things. And then in limiting your capacity to communicate, to coordinate, to travel, to do all these things, it's also presenting a bunch of tools to overcome these things in interesting ways, like laser pointers and flashlights and walkie-talkies and things. So yeah, I don't know. There's just something, it feels very like grounded and simple, but it's like, it's done so elegantly, the solutions to these things, that it feels, it's like sophisticated in its simplicity or something.
Yeah, it's wondrous. Every time you come up to a new puzzle, it just feels like opening a Christmas present. It's like, oh, you got to figure it out and stuff. No Caps, you said you played a bunch more over the weekend after we recorded our video. How did all that go?
Yeah, so I was playing just 2-player then because I was playing with my girlfriend. So that was a different experience because it was less chaotic and more, I guess, like focused. Usually, I mean, there's still like funny stuff that would happen, but it was easier, I guess, to decide on a place to go or like what we were going to do next. But I think the puzzles still worked well with 2 players because the whole thing is kind
different?
So some of them were the same, like like the basketball one, you just have to shoot baskets, that's the same. But then the one you were talking about with the 4 rooms and the intercom, there was just 2 rooms. So I guess that one was like a little bit different because you didn't have to like wait as long. But there's just, it was just, I guess, just scaled down for 2 players, so it didn't seem like it was off or anything. And we still had a lot of wrong ideas about, oh, maybe do this, maybe do this. But yeah, I think it worked great with 2 people.
It is funny how so much of the game is just about herding cats. It's it's the amount of times that we just went in a direction, like at the end of the first video, I make a decision that impacts the entire team. I wasn't thinking when I did it, but it like dragged us in this whole other direction, that just came from, 4 of us bouncing around. And you can play, what's the maximum? Is it 8 or 12 or something?
It is 12.
No,
it's 12.
12. That is completely, like, can you imagine trying
we
to
have to
organize 12
find
people?
we have to find more people. We have to play this with 12
God.
people.
That sounds so stressful.
Yeah, I think you would
I
have
don't know
to
if I could. I feel like I'd have a panic attack.
break up into different groups or something because you would never be able to like have a conversation. But it's part of the fun, I guess.
Could you imagine? Like, we're all talking over each other. Like, even during that, we were, because that's another part of the fun part of it is like somebody has an idea, right? I get really excited when I think of a solution and I'm like, I instantly need to share it. But then that can come across as like, me wanting to do it that way, or you know what I mean? Or like someone else has another idea of how to come up with the solution and other people have other things that they want to. So it's just like so much of the game is actually just social dynamics that have arguably nothing to do with any of the actual solutions. It's just like social solutions. You find your role. Like you're like, oh, I'll be the person that carries the walkie-talkie for now. Or, I went back to the top of that big red thing just so I could, I was like, you guys go do your thing. I'll go off and do this. And then, I'll come back later. It's so funny how that is a big effect. Were you both in the same room as well when you were playing, or were you in different rooms?
We did both ways. I mean, you're not technically supposed to be in the same room. We just had like my PC, and then she was using my PC, and then I was using Steam Deck, which
Oh, cool.
it ran on Steam Deck, but it wasn't great. And the microphone wasn't great on the Steam Deck. But in the end, we're like, oh, she's not really a gamer, and so like we're just gonna have it be more of like a hanging out in real life type of thing, and then we would like not talk if in the game we wouldn't have been able to talk. So like
Oh,
we
cool.
were trying to still follow the rules. You know what I mean? But we were sitting next to each other just because like I don't know, she wouldn't like want to sit in a different room and play a game. But
Yeah, it's a bit I don't know, something strange about you go in your room and I'll
Yeah,
go in my room
yeah.
and we'll play like
Don't
internet.
leave until I tell you.
Exactly. Yeah, I think for people who are wondering as well, the way the save games work is that whoever hosts saves the progress locally on their machine, or rather, I guess you should say on their account, let's say, because obviously there are, cloud saves. So, yeah, NoCaps is the arbiter of our 4-player game, right? Because it's saved that you hosted it first the first time around. But yeah, it's crazy how dynamic that whole thing is. You can't play with randoms, can you? I guess you could just like make a session and share the code or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
you'd
from a
have to like
Discord channel.
communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. We get some Noclip heads to come in.
I'm
Just
so
do it.
down. That sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
That'd be pretty funny, actually.
That would be like when we used to play Stunt Derby all the time. Like those sessions.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Fun, just like have people randomly hop in.
That's good.
yeah,
I'm having lunch with Alex today.
Oh, nice. Tell him I said hello. I was also thinking that like the one thing that I think Big Walk does very well is a lot of hangouty games are sort of co-op in the sense that you are sharing a world and sharing goals, but they don't really put like there's no like or I may be failing to think of good examples, but there are fewer than I'd like that put like weird social pressure on you to kind of like you're all kind of doing the same thing, but like Lethal Company, you go in and it's not a lot of like, oh shit, like get ready, I'm going to pass you this thing. You got to be ready for me to do this. It's not a lot of that. It's sort of like, oh no, like Jeremy got left behind and the fucking ghoulies got him.
Yeah,
I like,
you're kind of playing. You're playing your own
parallel.
game together.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Whereas
totally.
this, you're playing.
I like Big Walk. It's like the fun of the pressure that it puts on you socially is that it like it's fun to get frustrated with your friends and stuff. It's like that's one of the joys of co-op games is that you're all put in this situation where there is permission to sort of be like, dude, like what the fuck are you doing? And it's not like 2 days later Jesse's not gonna call me and be like, hey man, are you still mad at me because of that puzzle? Like that's part of the joy is it's stress testing. It's like a social sandbox as much as it's like a gameplay sandbox. It's like you're going in and putting pressure on your communication skills, on your capacity to communicate. So I feel like there's something about it that that there's like bond strengthening because you're able to sort of like it puts pressure on you in weird ways to have to overcome these scenarios in ways that are truly like actually codependent. Like there's overlapping dependency in a way that makes you just like I don't know. It's fun. It's like a different muscle than just sort of like all bringing gear back to the base and being like, all right, cool, we got enough wood to build the base now.
Yeah, there was one puzzle where we had to hand something off to each other, and it was under a time constraint, and I felt quite like anxious about it. I was like, okay, we need to get this right now. I ran over to you and I was like, I think NoCaps came to me and said, we're going to go now. Okay. And I was like, I ran over to you and you had a flashlight and I was like, drop that. We're going to do it now. You know what I mean? And then I went back and instantly my stress dissipated when Jesse handed the item over to NoCaps, and I don't know who dropped it, but one of you dropped it, because we were like trying to do it in like perfect seconds, and I started laughing immediately because I was like, of course we dropped it immediately, but then you got it and like brought it over, and it was funny. I was editing the video and I went from like being super anxious about trying to make sure we do this to immediately just saying this game is so stupid and fun, because like it's so easy to drop things in this game because you just like it's kind of goofy and doofy, it's silly. All the interactions are very physics based and sort of silly.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting what I was trying to communicate, is that it's like the roles that you were taking on in this game, it's fun to take them very seriously but to hold them lightly. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
to if someone's fucking up the puzzle, it's fun to be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But the collective understanding is like, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like I'm only getting heated because it's like fun to get invested in this emotionally. But it's like you're all sort of you're all like in like a play together or something. That there's like an improvisational dramatic quality to it where you're like, you know, and anything I say within the confines of this is like, you know, I don't really care that fucking much, but it's fun to like pretend I'm not pretend, like to genuinely be invested in it, but to hold it lightly as in that role.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Big Walk is available now on Steam for $19.99 regularly, but it's 25% off at the moment, all the way through August 18th. So for the next 2 weeks of time of recording. You can also get a bundle of some description. Big Walk. Oh no, it's Big Walk and Peak. Are they selling a 4-player? They're not. They're not doing like a buddy pack or anything like that. But there is a bundle with Peak. And Peak is very good. So yeah, $14.99 at the moment. Yeah, it's super cool. Reviews are coming in already. Very positive after. It's got 381 reviews, and it came out, I believe, 7 hours ago or something. So, fair play. Hopefully, it's a successful one for House. Obviously, coming off of Push Me Pull You, an Untitled Goose Game. It's very cool to see them putting this out. Studio from Melbourne in Australia. Big Walk. All right, let's have a little bit of a Persona hour here. No Caps, you were playing through Persona 5, but Frank, you finished 3 Reload. Finally, right? You started that a couple of years ago?
Yeah, so this came out February 2024, Persona 3 Reload. Even this was a thing, like, remember after I beat Persona 5, wanting to start 4 or 3. 3 was always so confusing because it came out like in 2006. Then they did like a better version a few years later, then a PSP version.
Yeah.
Both the PSP version and the PS2 Enhanced Edition were both available on PS3. I bought one of the PS3 versions. I always heard it was so hard, yada, yada. They put out Persona 4 Reload, and this was basically Persona 3 remade with 5's engine. Started playing it. This is also such a key game because this came out like 3 months after my dad died. So I was like playing Persona 3 and Fallout 4 as kind of these like depression games of just like, let me just get lost in these games. And then a month after Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out, which I still haven't beat. And so I jumped to that, and then I went to Japan. In Japan, there was a Persona 3 collab cafe. So I like went and got all these things, even though I hadn't unlocked half of the playable party yet. Then I came back from Japan, and there were so many new games, and I just like, and then Metaphor came out like 6 months later. So Persona 3 Reload was this game I've always wanted to play, but never kind of had the time or space for. And then, yeah, I finished the pinball project, and I had this, and I still kind of do, I had this like post-project depression where I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? But I had like a month to kill before Japan, and I looked at my like the eternal list of games. I want to play through all the Yakuza games, so I need to finish Yakuza 6. So at Anime Expo a month ago, they had a giant Persona 4 panel, and they showed like first gameplay footage of Persona 4 Revival, which comes out February, and it looks fantastic. Again,
it looks amazing.
They just remade 4 with 5's engine, but it looks great. But they had the creators come out, so like the series director, the art director, I don't think the composer, but someone else notable from the Atlas team. And it was so weird to be like, oh my God, these are real people. These like, because they make the best games ever, but these games are so daunting. But that was the final like, okay, I got to play this game. I have to beat Persona 3 Reload before 4 comes out. Let alone Metaphor. But yeah, and so I kind of just like got in the routine of it. I would wake up every morning, play for like an hour, and then like on some days just spend like 8 hours going through the dungeons and grinding in this loop. You know, like the core Persona loop is like it's traditional JRPG, turn-based battle, but then the like social sim side of it is also like a separate kind of game that's also extremely rewarding. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird to like bring up and talk about because like Persona game. Anytime you have like the luxury in life to sit down and play a JRPG, it's only like few. I can remember vividly playing like Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 10, Chrono Trigger, like Ni no Kuni, like any JRPG, I can exactly remember who I am. And I feel like every time in my life I play a JRPG, I'm a completely different person. So it was weird to sit down and play Persona 3 Reload, where it was like when I started this game, this is right when my dad died, before I had gone to Japan. On the other side of me finishing this, I've gone to Japan 5 times. I'm about to go to Japan a 6th time. I am eternally like carrying the torch of my father's spirit and will. And it's like I've done so much in just 2.5 years, and I still miss them. Again, the pinball video came out, and that night I was like sad because it's like, fuck, I wish my dad could see this. But he would be. And also, I really liked talking to Steve Ritchie because he had the exact kind of straightforward, no bullshit candor as my dad.
Oh, really?
And so it was like, Steve Ritchie kind of reminded me a lot of my dad. I was like, okay, cool. But whatever. So it was a bummer. But like, so it's so weird to finish this game that I've been kind of like, that's not a cloud. It's a really great game, but it's like, oh my God, I finally finished this game. What do I do next? You know, I don't know. And now there's a million Persona games in Metaphor, but like, it was cool. And also like, the other final tick was like, I've been playing Densha Attack and still playing it every week. I think Densha Attack is one of the best games of the year. I love Densha Attack. Stylistically, it's a lot like Persona, extremely flashy anime. It's made by a studio in Spain, but like they got.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
And I got like, and they got one of the composers of Persona to do music, and Lotus Juice, the rapper in Persona, is in this game. So there's straight up Persona music in this game. I was like, fuck, like I'm playing this game that's so like hugely inspired by Persona. I need to go back and beat Persona. But so I knocked out Persona 3 Reload, and like it's so weird finishing a JRPG because it's like, oh my God, these digital people are gone forever. Like it's so weird because it's like
all the social links you've made.
Yeah, I got so many people to like level 10 and stuff. And even playing Persona 3 Reload again compared to when I started, in Persona 3 Reload, you go to Kyoto. So like there's the Kamo River, which like there's a shot in my Japanese racing game video, like, oh my God, like it's so weird. I'm able to appreciate this game even more now. I'm playing the game in Japanese dialogue. Like,
oh, nice.
You would like recognize phrases and stuff. So it's just like, oh my God, I've even like grown, evolved as a person from when I started the save file Persona 3. And I feel like I remember Jeremy's talking about how like they like Persona 5 is a game they're chipping at over the course of years. I'm excited to hear No Caps talk about it. But it's like, I feel like Persona games resonate with so many people in so many different ways. And I remember like notably at the convention at Anime Expo, when they showed gameplay of Persona 4 and like all the characters, it was like Beatlemania. People were fucking they were screaming. Also, like the creators were there.
Look at Chie, looks so good.
Yeah, people were screaming. They were screaming for like all the reveals. And I was like, oh my God, like, yeah. So when I was playing Persona 3 Reload, it was like, oh fuck, this is like a 10 out of 10 game. This is like, there's nothing that touches these games. Like I like Yakuza games, but they still have a little bit of like a B game, not jank, but they're a little like shoddy. I love them, and that's kind of why I like them. They're B movies. But Personas
are so polished.
They're so fucking sleek. And so I was like, oh my God, this is so good. So I'm more excited for my rival. I'm excited for Metaphor, but it was just like, completing a JRPG is an achievement. It's also great beating a game that's like, great, you're not exhausted by it. But of course, I spaced it out over like, I don't know the math, 30 months, a long time. But I beat Reload, but yeah.
Did you ever watch the Giant Bomb Endurance run?
No, I know. Like Gerstmann's referenced Persona a bunch and stuff.
Yeah,
but I haven't watched.
So I've never played a Persona game, but I feel like I know Persona pretty well because I watched their endurance run. Which I mean, there's a series they did ages ago where they play very long games, usually JRPGs, and try and get through them. And they did Persona 4 back in the day. So I watched all of that. But that was, God, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago, maybe, something like that. So I'm really looking forward to the new version of Persona 4 because, like, it's going to be, I think, it'll have the quality of life features that sort of I needed to push me over the edge. And also it's been so long now that I'm you know, I know there's parts I'll remember, but like I've kind of forgotten a lot of what happens and all the social link stuff that goes on. So yeah, and it looks the bee's knees. I mean, I watched some of the footage that they showed in the past few weeks, and it looks just incredible. You know, that old game had an amazing style to it, but just the polish on it now looks really incredible. No Caps, what was your experience with the Persona series? Is 5 the first? Because you're playing 5 at the moment. Is that your first one?
Yeah, 5 is my first one. I mean, ever since I found out about it, which was probably a couple years ago, I knew that I wanted to play it eventually, but it was just so daunting that I like kind of always pushed it back. But I got a PS4, I guess, like 2 months ago. I think I talked about how I opened it up in the box. Like, I was surprised that everything was still in there, but I thought that it would be a good place to play it on console, to just like sit down with it every night or, you know, a couple times a week and play it. And it's been like, usually when I play big games, there's like some point when it starts to feel like, okay, I've been playing this for like 30 hours. Like, when is this going to end? Like, I'm kind of ready to move on to something else. But
Right.
just the way that you have the social stuff and like it's broken into each dungeon, it's like very conducive to playing over a long period of time. So I've probably been playing it for like 6 weeks or something, and I'm like 35 hours in, and I've just like been enjoying playing a little bit every week, and I don't feel rushed for some reason, just because of, I guess that's the way the game is structured, and because I know it's so long, like I could never like have the endurance to play it in like a month or something. So I've just been really spreading it out. And yeah, I mean, it would be nice to be able to play 3 before 4 comes out again, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But and then the announcement for 6 also looks really cool. So I have like hundreds of hours of games to play over the next couple of years. So I'm set.
And if I remember correctly, like I'm sure there's maybe some overarching connection, but like the games are largely separate, right? It's like different social groups, different people. It's like Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah,
Everyone's nodding. This is a
it's like Final Fantasy where it's like the same enemies, you know what I mean? And like you're in the dungeons, but it's different characters, different cities. Most of the games are centered around Tokyo, like different neighborhoods. So it's like, oh, there's new places to discover. But like you have the
it's always kids in school, right?
Yes, yeah. And I think that's why they were so excited to make Metaphor, because it's like, okay, we're fucking done with the high school shit. But yeah, it's like you have Jack Frost, which is like little like snow guy, and like a lot of like
Is Telly? Is that his name? Telly? What's his name?
There's Teddy is in the English version, but they call him Kuma in Japan. So like,
Okay.
But yeah, Teddy, and that's always a weird thing, like because at the Persona 4 panel, everyone was like Teddy, and in my head I'm like, it's fucking Kuma. But like, but yeah, but the monsters are kind of similar, and it all takes from like tarot imagery, and so the monsters are the same, but the setting, character, even like the theme, Persona 3 is blue, Persona 4 is yellow, Persona 5 is red, 6 is gonna be green. So the theming and stuff is
running out
radically
of
different.
colors. I'm gonna start using like beige and shit.
Chartreuse.
Yeah, it's like the fucking Adobe Premiere color labels. It's all fucking, Caribbean,
They ruined. I'm sorry, we have to do a 10-second
colors?
sidebar. They ruined the color labels in Premiere, and they lowered like the saturation to like 2%.
Yeah,
and they
it's
all look
awful.
the fucking same. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. That's
I
the end
cannot
of my
stand it.
soapbox.
Well, you can change
No, I
them.
agree.
You can change them, but by
Yeah.
default,
But
they're
yeah,
almost
yeah.
the exact same color now, which is crazy that I have.
There's
to
also
change.
like not like a white or black one. You know what I mean? Like there's like 4 shades of blue and green, and they all look the same. You're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Caribbean and like rose and magenta should not all be the same color. I'm sorry.
Lavender.
And I'm colorblind, so this is an
Violet.
accessibility issue. God damn
Exactly.
it.
How dare you? How very dare you? Good stuff, guys. Persona. We love it. We're checking in on it. It's the road to Persona. Let's do it. We got to play through all the Gears of War games now before that one comes out too. The past is the future. The future is still coming, and so are the indie games, and so are the computer worlds. And I'm here to talk to you all about a computer world. I need to give a shout out to this one. This came via the Noclip Discord, which you can access if you are a Noclip Patreon subscriber on either one of our beautiful Patreons. This one came through from user Ursor, would you believe? URSOR, who only a few hours ago put it in there, and I was like, I'll give it a go. This game is called PARKSIDE, Decayed Soul Manipulation. Yes, that is all caps. Sorry, no caps. Wait, is it all caps, or did I just put it in that way? No, it's all caps on Steam. I'm not a psychopath. This is God, how to explain this? It's kind of a Deus Ex Cruelty Squad kind of thing. It's made by the developer with my favorite name so far of the year, Banana Hardsoft. It came out on July 30th of this year, so just a couple of days ago, late last week. It is a sort of retro, first-person shooter. Kind of looks like Deus Ex. It's an ImSim, if you've heard one of those before, an immersive simulation. In it, you are a hacker who has been sort of captured, indoctrinated, if you will, by a group. I actually took the time to take a photograph of the name of the group because it made me laugh so much. Very self-aware tone, this whole thing. They are called the Illuminated Brethren of Conclave Automata. So there you go. And you are essentially sent out to, well, the levels are open. They are public, at least the first one is. I've done the tutorial and played the first level. So they take place in public spaces. You have guns, you have lockpicks, you have hacks, you have all this sort of stuff. But the game sort of spits you out in, for instance, the first mission you're supposed to do is to assassinate someone in an apartment building, but you just walk out into the town. So if you start showing your gun around, you're going to get instantly killed. It takes place in a sort of a dystopian police state situation. There's lots of people with like drug problems and crime, and the city is super interesting. There's like, tons of ways to get around across the, it's very video gamey and blocky in that way, but it's like you have a lot of freedom to like go through air vents, go across the tops of buildings. The game is very, encouraging you to I guess explore and find weird ways around it. Loads of interesting mechanics to do with like hacking stuff. Like it just sort of like pulls back. I think it's not taking itself too seriously, and the nature of the combat being difficult and the nature of the esoteric tools that you have sort of opens up some really interesting possibilities. I, for one, got into the apartment building and then killed a guy who looked like the guy on the picture, but it wasn't him, by throwing I managed to get in to his room, but he was in there with a friend, so I ninja starred the friend in the head and he instantly died. And then the other guy ninja starred, and then the game said I hadn't killed the guy yet, so then I started punching his head apart, which was very, very funny. There's also like sort of situations like sometimes you might get caught in a building by somebody, but they won't instantly shoot you. They'll come up and go like, hey, stop. And then you can try and converse your way out of it. I've had situations where I've managed to trick them into saying that I'm okay. And then other situations where it did not work and they immediately open fire on me. You should just check out the trailer on the Steam page, because it's kind of a wild game. But I've really enjoyed playing it. It's doofy and funny. There was one guy who I decided not to attack because he was just a bystander. It said bystander, but when he saw me pull my gun out, he jumped off from his desk, ran over and hit like the security alarm on the wall. That was like, fucking no. And of course, then I killed that innocent guy while he was like cowering in the corner of the room. But yeah, it's cool. It's got that Cruelty Squad sort of, it's definitely a computer world. It has lots of, sort of out there, text coming up on screen. The music is fucking brilliant as well. I'm a big fan of that. It's I think it's right up your alley, Jeremy Jane.
Yeah, I'm watching the trailer right now, and I don't know. It looks fucking awesome. I like how it's I don't know. Like I feel like the focus, just from what I'm seeing, is so much on sort of like creating this like rather than having everything be an immense level of polish, it's just creating like an incredibly wide swath of just like places and people and guns and weird shit to explore.
It's cool. There's like druggies. It's like kind of like gnarly in some places. Reminds you of Kingpin Life of Crime a little bit. Some of the like solutions, like it's very systemic, but it's open. Like I feel like a lot of games like Dishonored and Deus Ex, absolutely love them, but there is kind of 3 solutions to every level, and this it feels like they've probably constructed 6 solutions, and then there's probably 3 you can just come up with yourself. Like I kept coming across interesting things by searching in the world, and I thought that was pretty neat. The other thing I should mention, is the character you play is a hacker, but they are basically sort of mind jacking into the body of like a super soldier. So your character's not actually doing it. I believe the super soldier is called Polyphemus, which I believe is the name of the Cyclops in the Odyssey, I think. So that's what they call it. And essentially you have 2 lives. So like if you die doing the level, the game, there's like, so they have access, like it's great. They have access to some fucking magical elixir that can get you to come back, in this future techno hellscape. But it only works once. So you get a second go. There is no quick saving in this game. This is an ImSim with no saves. You go in and you do the
interesting.
thing. Yeah, so that was cool. Like, and it resets progression when you do that. But then you go back into the level with, you know, sort of map knowledge, which is pretty cool. And the conversation stuff's good. It's really well written. The conversation stuff is funny. Like, there was a guy I met in the coffee shop. They're like, you can just go kill a guy, or if you want some extra equipment, there's a guy in a coffee shop who can tell you about that. And I went up to him and he was like, oh, hi, yeah, they said you were going to come and talk to me, you know, it's all text or whatever. And then one of the options I had to say back to him was, these fucking guys kidnapped me, like, you gotta help. And then he's like, you sure about that? And then I backed down. But I think if I escalated, because one of the next ones was, oh yeah, I'm totally calling the cops after this, I think he would have attacked me. Like, it's a game that does that type of stuff. Like, it's kind of playful and weird and yeah, it's you know, I don't know. It's like it's a video game. It's like, it feels like a warm video game design hug. Some bugs in there and bits and bobs. It's very indie. Obviously, it's probably a solo dev situation. I'm not sure. Maybe a small team. It obviously looks like one of these. What was that game I played? We did an indie rec on it. The one where you just have to go in and shoot everyone. It looks really like this.
Oh, holy shit! What is that?
You know,
game
it was only
called?
about 4 or 5 months ago, I think.
Yeah,
Pig face.
Thank you. Yes, this has a pig face feel to the shooting as well, but obviously way deeper in terms of, you know, strategy, because it's an immersive sim. Yeah, it's really cool. PARKSIDE, Decayed Soul Manipulation. Really boring name, if you ask me. It's a fucking cool ass name.
It's like a new metal album.
Yeah, it is. But it wasn't Parkside the name of that school that got right?
Is that a school that had an atrocity? It sounds
I think
familiar.
so. Is that where that David Hogg guy is from? I think.
That sounds correct.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe pick, you know, maybe a bit more brainstorming on the name. I don't know. Who knows? PARKSIDE, Decayed Soul Manipulation. Check it out. It's on Steam. Costs $12.59 at the moment. It's $14 usually. 13 days left. Sorry, I take that back. August 13th is the day that deal ends. I mean, yeah, this game, $13 for this thing is an absolute steal. It's a really good thing. And then the last one I want to talk about briefly, it's a game I've wanted to play for a while. It came out of early access, I think, this week. Astronauts. Have you ever heard of this game before?
I've not.
No,
Nope.
I've had this on my sort of radar for a little bit. It's I think the creator who made it, Blue Bottle, they made a game called Neo Scavenger, which I think was pretty big.
Oh shit! Yeah, that game is cool.
So this is like very similar. Like the logo for this game is almost the exact same treatment as that.
Oh, wow.
And so what it is essentially, it's like it's so hard to explain these games. It's kind of like, in a way, it's a bit like Dwarf Fortress and Caves of Cud, except you control one character, and they are essentially an individual who is working as a ship scrapper in space, right? At the start of the game, you make your character. It's top down. I love the start of this game. When you're building your character at the start, you can basically like go straight into work, or you can like role play their life. So you can go like, oh, I'm just going to go work for a year and try and save money. And you do that. And then maybe it gives you a little thing just on this like screen when you're building your character, and it goes, oh, you were traveling in this place and this happened. What did you do? And then you make a selection, and then maybe you make some friends, and then, you know, it adds to this. And then you're like, oh, you're going to like increase your skills in certain things. And it'll take like 2 years to learn how to do electric stuff and all this. And then it'll play through it and be like, you were working in this place, learning how to do this electric stuff. And this really old piece of technology came across your desk. Do you steal it? Do you try and sell it on the black market? Do you tell your boss about it and try and cut a deal with them? You know what I mean? And then it like has consequences that affect your character. And then at a certain point you go, okay, I'm ready to go work at the shipyard. And then you go do that. So you start at like 18. It's really cool. And then once you're in the game, it's like top down. It's very complicated. So almost everything in the world can be interacted with in some way, like down to like individual panels on the floor of your ship that you can fix. You have to like decide what, you know, clothes you're wearing, what equipment you've got on. You have to like hit light switches to turn lights on. It's like, we don't really have a name for these games, but they're like hardcore simulation, I guess is what I call it. But instead of this being about like a fort or something like COD, which is a bit smaller scale, but sort of still you're interacting with a lot of things, this feels a lot more personal. It's about you and your small spaceship. So I think it's a bit easier to handle maybe than some of those games are. Like I feel like you need to play a lot of games of Dwarf Fortress or COD to know what the fuck is going on. Whereas I feel like if you focus down on this one, it won't be as complicated. But I've only played a few hours. It is a very complex game. I'm finding it interesting and rewarding. I do get the vibe that it is like those games in that when things go wrong, that's when the fun happens. So I'm sort of I'm playing a bit conservatively at the moment, but I'm hoping to do a bit more of that. But yeah, it's a bizarre game. Came out of early access August 3rd. Has mostly positive reviews, but like 2,500 of them. But most of that was during early access. So I'm guessing now that 1.0 is out, they'll probably have some more final reviews coming in from people. Yeah, super interesting game. Really sort of enamored and fascinated by it.
Yeah, this looks really cool. This is like games like this and CUD and Dwarf Fortress are intimidating in the same way that a Persona game is, where I'm like, if I can find 50 hours, this will be an experience.
If I can just break my collarbone,
if I could just quit my job,
yeah,
and if I could just get a check from the government every month to play Persona or Astronauts, I would be in.
Oh, sorry. Break your collarbone is a very European way of looking at time off. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
If I get my allocated sick leave, you know, my government allocated sick leave, just go out there chucking yourself in front of cars, fucking Saints Row 1 style, you know? Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's like, that's what's going to happen. Look, I'm just banking all these for retirement, man. You know, when I'm in that old folks home, we got that LAN room. We're all in there together. No Caps is maybe a couple of years behind us. We're waiting for her to get all geriatric and shit so she can join us there. We're going to, you know, I'll be in there first. Jeremy will come next, then Frank.
Every time someone new comes to the retirement home, we have to roll new World of Warcraft characters and start over.
That's fair.
Because that's the game you play. That's the forever game in the old folks home.
If you had won, what would be the one game? Would that be Black Mirror yourself into World of Warcraft?
One game to play forever?
One game.
When you're old.
When you're old.
World of Warcraft would be a good answer, but I feel like it's too. It's like I know it so well already.
The wonder's not there.
It would have
maybe
to
Stars Reach will be that game.
I hope Stars Reach is that game. It might be like, honestly, probably like Civilization or something. You know what I mean? Something a little more like board gamey, that has sort of like an inherent reset quality to it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Civ. Can you do Civ multiplayer? I guess.
Yeah,
I don't really play Civ. I don't fuck with Civ.
Civ is great.
I don't fuck with Catan.
I'm gonna make you play Civ 3 someday for a video.
Ugh, God, my job is so hard. I'm being forced to play a critically adored game by my friend. Ugh, this is the worst.
Life sucks.
Life sucks, man. Fucking sucks. Those are our video games. Big Walk, various personas, Parkside, Decayed Soul Manipulation, Astronauts. Go check them out. It's all our video games. But Frank Halley's here with a bag full of mail. What we got, Frank?
Yeah, people can send us emails, podcasts@noclip.video, or on our Patreon server, in our Discord server for podcast chat. Once again, podcasts@noclip.video. Our first comes from Matthew Pecora saying, "Hey guys, I have a question for Jeremy, one for all of you. Jeremy, I've just stumbled across your Fat Sesh videos and loving them. I was just wondering if you had plans to do any more, and then for everyone else, when are you doing the next film reviews?"
Music to Jeremy's fucking ears here.
I
do
would
more
love
Fat Sessions.
I would love to do. I'm waiting for the call to come in on the big red phone from the president.
Yeah. President Fat. PHAT.
So are you calling yourself President Fat?
I guess I am. I am.
Yeah,
I'm on that anti-Ozempic. I'm on the fucking Chubzentic. It's just fucking ice cream. But it's
They're going to have to make that. And then you'll have to take both that and Ozempic to stay at a normal weight.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you kill your heart in 5 years.
I would love to do more fat sessions. Yeah, no, I think it's a great format. I think that as much as I think like a good, nice, like edited, condensed, like I've played 100 hours of this game and here's a video essay. I think that there is something that is lost in the editing, in the refinement, in the like contemplation. To me, there is something incredibly raw that is just like someone playing a game for the first time and thinking through it and feeling their way into it.
Which games have you done as fat sessions of?
I've
so
only
far?
done a few. I've done Morrowind, which might be the best one. Paper Mario was not the best one because it wasn't my ideal choice for a game. The game that I had planned that day didn't work. I don't remember what it was. So there's Morrowind, Paper Mario, and then there's
New Vegas?
No, what was the third one? I don't remember. I've only done like 3 of them, I think.
Fat sessions, for people that don't know, are was it Fallout 4? No, where they're videos where we play games for multiple hours and then upload the whole thing. I think they're for
Here's My
patrons?
Magic, obviously, was the other
Oh,
one.
Hom, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I
show.
just typed in fat session on YouTube and it's not me. What is this? Fat Battles Palooza. Are these rap battles?
I was about to say Fat Session. There's got to be a rapper called Fat Session or something.
It's now I'm getting like weird fitness shit.
Love it. Oh, a Fat Session. There we go. Yeah. If you could do a Fat Session on anything, what would it be?
Oh, I have a list. I don't know. Should I fire up the list? Let's see.
Nah, shoot it from the hip.
Okay, from the hip. I would love to do the Sid Meier's Pirates.
Oh, that's a good shout.
I've never played it. I've never
Yeah.
seen it played. I don't know how it's
neither.
played. I don't know anything about it. But I think that would be fun to just figure out for 7 to 8 hours. Yeah, I feel like the reason they're good is it's like the reason I didn't understand Twitch streams for games when they first came around was like I'd rather just play a game than watch someone play it. But having there's like a beautiful revelatory moment as like things click for the first time as someone plays a game, and there's a different experience of like watching someone else have that experience where it's like you're like one level removed from it. I don't know. I would love to do more. They're fun.
And the film reviews, they're coming back. We're doing a whole
Yes.
podcast reshuffle in the next month, so we'll have updates on those pretty soon. One of our Battle Pass holders, Entheogen, has an email here, it looks like.
Yeah, and Theogen asked about buggy games. My partner, a data science programmer, recently started watching me game. She found it curious about the amount of bugs in Outer Worlds 2. The old standards, physics, collision issues, restarting a save because of a quest script breaking, but it broke her laughing when textures didn't render, grass is floating, etc. She said they're allowed to ship games in this state and people don't mind. She was genuinely curious, confused and curious. I explained that shit happens. You develop save state handling and look past anything that doesn't utterly break the game. What's y'all's limits on bugs? And what, if any, do you remember fondly?
I feel like I've got a lot of leeway for bugs. It's like if you're into theater, you gotta let people flub their lines every now and again. You know, if you're into like, there's some pieces of media, like I don't want to listen to a song that has like a bum note in it, you know, or like a film that has like they forgot to color grade one of the shots, but like video games are fucking complex, dynamic things made by psychopaths, especially RPGs that are so interactive. So yeah, it depends on the game, I think. But like I feel like a lot of leeway for bugs and stuff.
I feel like it's like sort of a rich part of the tradition of the medium as well. Is like there are so many positives that emerge out of the bugginess that it's like you get the speedrunning community as it exists would not exist at all without some sort of that like wiggle room. And that's like one subculture. There's like, again, like Twitch streams or like long plays and stuff like that. A huge part of the appeal is not the person just experiencing the game, but like experiencing weird things that happen, one-off bugs, jank. I feel like a lot of the brokenness of games is a sort of handshake agreement, an unspoken agreement between the audience and the creator that like these things are fucking hard to make. Shit's gonna happen, but the best I can hope for is that like it won't be something that will ruin the game for you, and ideally we can both see the humor here when shit goes wrong. But best case scenario, yeah, it creates like glitches and like creepypasta and lore and like speculation. Like there's so many beautiful subcultural things that emerge out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
well
long as
said.
it doesn't
Well said.
crash the game, I'm good.
Yeah, that's the
I don't
one
mind a
rule.
couple
It can't
bugs.
break the game.
Yeah, God, I forget what game. There was a game. I forget what game it was, and I also probably don't necessarily want to shit on them here. But there was a game I played during the week that I was trying to get running, and it just would not. Oh, I can say that actually. I don't give a shit. I thought it was an indie game, but it wasn't. It was fucking Arc Raiders. I had to uninstall Arc Raiders to get it to work, and then a second time it happened as well. I don't know if there was some patch or some weird thing that happened, but it just would, or maybe it was Steam, but it just would not start. It crashed a bunch, and I think there was another indie game. I'm pretty sure there was a demo or something I was going to play that did the same thing. But that actually hung on me, whereas Arc Raiders was just beach balling for a long time. Yeah, there's stuff like that. But like, yeah, if you're fucking talking to someone in Outer Worlds and they turn to you and their fucking eyeballs are hanging out of their heads, or that's fine. But yeah, like if your quest got deleted or a bug or a quest doesn't finalize or something like that, yeah, that's a results vary, I think, and that's mileage varies rather when it comes to that stuff.
Bugs in video games are like it's like if bugs in video games are like racism. I don't like them, but if you make me laugh when it happens, I'm more willing to forgive it. That's I don't like racism. That's a joke. I'm just saying if someone pushes the line on social norms,
I didn't hear you for a second. Sorry, I was wondering.
Oh no, it's all right. No one reacted at all, and I was like, "Holy shit, I'm not endorsing racism."
Sorry.
No, it's just like if someone is like pushing the line on a piece of humor or something, it's like if it's not funny, then it's like, why are you being fucking weird and hateful? But if they're like clear, like I could give an example. I was talking to my mom the other day, and she was telling me about something horrible that happened at an ethnic food place somewhere, and I was like, that's like the one thing that even racists are like. They're like, who doesn't appreciate like food from different like, you know what I mean? Like
you
even
think
the
fucking
racists.
White supremacists don't eat burritos?
Yeah, the dudes at the Klan rally are like stopping at the
They
soul
fucking
food
love
place
a
all the
naan.
way. Yeah, exactly.
Can't get enough of that shit.
Yeah, the
Onion
Brexiters
veggies.
are still getting a curry sometimes.
Oh, fucking,
man.
they're probably eating them at a higher rate than anyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ. Man, sorry for the awkward.
It's fine.
I was like processing what you said.
No, it was a weird loaded comparison, and yet valid.
Yes. Jeremy hates.
No, I don't hate anyone, especially not on those grounds.
You know when something awkward happens, you just want to sit in it. It's just sit in that stew. It just feels good. Hey, Frank, get us out of this. Go. Let's do another email.
Sponge Guy asked about esports. I think I saw a streamer say there are only 5 professional esports games: League of Legends, StarCraft, Super Smash Bros. Melee, Counter-Strike, and Rocket League. Apart from how true that statement is, what does the crew think might be a future pillar of pro gaming, or have we exhausted the space?
My opinions on pro gaming, I think, are very unpopular in that I think esports is largely a marketing vehicle. I think there are exceptions. I think the fighting game community for the longest time was a self-generated, community generated emergent thing. And obviously a bunch of different federations and competitions have come out of that over the years. But I think that's different. When it comes to, like, what were the games they mentioned? Like StarCraft, I think emerged naturally as well, especially because it's so regional. Like obviously in South Korea, it was really big, and a couple of other spots. League of Legends for me, in the same way as Counter-Strike, feels more like I don't know. Counter-Strike's weird though, because like it's not like Valve run Counter-Strike tournaments, but they did Dota, right? Like the International was like part of their thing. So yeah, I don't know. It's some part of me that feels like, sports should be a public utility, and video games obviously aren't because they're commercial products. But so there's always a part of me that felt like, it's just an extension of their marketing thing, because like all the teams are sponsored by some type of fucking product, and the actual, events themselves are being written off as marketing spends, you know what I mean, to get eyeballs on the game, to get more people in, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like Manchester United earn money the more kids play football, but like that connection does exist here. So I've always felt a little bit cynical about some esports stuff, and I've loved more than others. Like I love StarCraft. I love a lot of the fighting game community stuff and things like that. But I don't know. I think also some of the esports stuff has been like a weight on some games' shoulders. You know, I think a lot of games that, you know, I think there's a subset of people, depending on the game, but I think for a lot of games, the percentage of people who are interested in the esports aspect of the game is a hardcore subset that is very difficult to keep happy. And I think games have attempted to get a bit more mainstream, or like and I think it's kind of fucked a lot of games. Like there was some games that came out that I'm trying to think of examples. Like Fortnite is not a game that people should be taking seriously. You know, you can play ranked, but like I wouldn't do a competition in that, because then you just end up softening all the edges. Like if they did competitive arc raiders, it would be so annoying. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big esports person anyway. I never was, but I'm not. I don't really know what would be the next one. I also think that like a lot of big investments in games and tech, it has proven to not be profitable. So I don't, you know, unless in very rare cases, you know, exceptions that prove the rule. So I don't think, I think for the moment we're seeing a bit of a retraction over there, and, you know, it was probably somewhat of a bubble, you know what I mean? And sort of artificially inflated because of the marketing aspect.
Yeah, I think thinking about esports is a bad thing for game development, because I think it requires a focus on balance that is more clinical and data driven than like fun and experientially driven. I think that making a like TF2, I think if you remade TF2 and you're like, yeah, the esports is going to be fucking huge on this, the scene, you would have balanced all the fun out of it. Good multiplayer games are not necessarily always fair or balanced. Their imbalance is often where a lot of the interest and intrigue comes from. And so TF2 to me is a game that is very sort of like lumpy and asymmetrical in many ways. But that's part of the fun, is like sometimes you're like the heavy and you got a medic who's your buddy on a mic, and it's like kind of unfair because you're fucking breaking every stalemate. But then it's like anyone can do it or whatever, you know? Or like GoldenEye. Like if GoldenEye was designed as like an esport, they're like, we need to fucking like tune all the ratchets need to be like tighten as fuck. It just loses a lot of the sort of like fun flavor of it that's weird and asymmetrical.
Yeah, even if I think about like FPS games that I play, like I played competitive Battlefield Vietnam back in the day, right? And that's a fun game to play multiplayer because it's just so silly. But like even games like Half-Life multiplayer is the worst. Like that would be the worst esport of all time. You know what I mean? Just running around throwing snarks on the fucking ground and like rocketing people. Like you immediately spawn beside the rocket launcher. You know what I mean? Like there's no map control. You're just sort of like, you know, RNG respawning and hoping that you land beside something good, and then there's like 1,000 sound effects going on at one time, so you can't tell what, you know, all that stuff. But even when I played Counter-Strike, like I played when Source came out, I just played Compound all the time because it was a funny map, because it was so one-sided. Like it was so much harder to attack than it was to defend in Compound, which was funny because like you got to like fuck around for half the game, and then you got to be frustrated or hopefully get in there on the other side. Or I do surf maps, which, you know what I mean? Like that's fun, weird stuff. I guess some people are more competitive. I'm not really competitive, but you know, and it's cool. It's cool seeing somebody who's like really good at like, you know, getting sniper shots up that tunnel in CS Italy. But you know, I got diminishing returns on it. I can watch that a couple of times before I get bored of it.
I also think that like the putting the onus on the developer to make like a hyper balanced esports game, I think is kind of the wrong approach anyway. Because I think part of the fun of turning something into an esport is people interacting with the game as it exists and all kind of like mastering the same imperfect thing. Like I don't think Counter-Strike was designed as like an esport or anything, but it has become one because sort of the like inconsistencies and inherent asymmetry of the game are known quantities that everyone can sort of like interact with and master. And so it's not that every game of Counter-Strike is this perfectly balanced, you know, esports machine. It's just that like everyone can understand its asymmetries and master them in the same way. So I think that like the e athletes should be the ones who are sort of like filling the gap on that and making it more symmetrical or something, rather than like, was it High Guard that they talked about how they thought too much about esports when they were making it or something, and that was part. Like I just think it's like a bad thing to be thinking about. You know, you shouldn't be doing like balance patches that much before you're just like, is this a fun, interesting game?
I think Overwatch has also suffered from this really big time, because Overwatch to me is a playful, like when it first came out, at least, like I enjoyed it as this playful sandbox. And then what happens is, and you see it all the time, you see it in the ARC Raiders community as well, especially in the PvP side, where like the people who play the most, who don't put the game down, are the people who are really, really into the game and competitive. And then they start like talking about the game in this sort of group-thinky way that pulls it away from being fun. You know, like Overwatch got pulled away from being this interesting, like, what'll the next character do thing, to being just so careful about balance. And balance is such a misnomer. Like, there is no balance in game. You will never achieve balance. There will always be community metas. There will always be people figuring out new ways of doing things. It's like Formula One. Like, you cannot get to a stage where it's all equal. You are constantly fighting against people trying to find loopholes or trying to find, you know, ways of doing things that people can't. And that's fun. I think that's like part of it and cool. But like Counter-Strike to me now is the most dry balls thing in the world, where it used to be fun, where you go on a server and there was some fucked up Simpsons level, and then like you'd play Aztec, or like, you know, where, like, am I right? In competitive Counter-Strike, they do not do hostage maps, right? I'm pretty sure it's all bomb.
I don't know, actually. Maps. That sounds very plausible.
I might be crazy, but like in my head, they don't, you know, they run on all the DE maps, I think, which is like, sure. But like, it's probably makes more sense if you're trying to take out things that are going to make it imbalanced, or people just like shoot the hostages so they can't win the games or whatever. But like, it's less cool. Like, it's not as funny. Like, Counter-Strike used to have bad weapons. You know what I mean? Like, you're stuck with the Styrn Hog or whatever, and you fucking, oh shit, see if this works. Yeah, so I don't know. It's not for me. Different. I think ultimately it's different strokes for different folks. But I would push back on a lot of the sort of like, you get a lot of confident group speak out of esports communities about how things should be to be better and more balanced. And I think that destroys more games than it fixes. I think you could write a book on all the games that have been completely dragged down into obscurity by the very community that was hoping to keep them long. And it's because players aren't developers. And also neither are esports professionals. That's another one. The classic pro gamer turned game designer. You know what I mean? Like, which is, you know, you can get a football player become a good manager. That can happen, of course. It happens all over the time. But I think pro gamers who are good at certain games sometimes have way too high a personal opinion of how they think games should be designed. And I think I can't think of many who have managed to make that transition, at least in the modern era. You know, there's plenty of fellas who were playing Quake 2 back in the day who ended up working at places or whatever. But yeah, I think that's part of the groupthink. A lot of people just kind of think they know more than they do.
That's a really good point. I was trying to imagine the parallel, and it's like if Brett Favre retired and he was like, yeah, I invented a new sport though, and it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, just because you are really good at one sport doesn't mean you're like a sports designer.
You're right. It's like a different sport. Exactly. Like, yeah, you can be good at like training people maybe at how to play Counter-Strike if you're a Counter-Strike pro, but like, you know, doesn't necessarily mean that you can invent football too. You know,
game design and narrative story writing are two of the biggest skills that people overestimate their ability to do, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're both things that people are like, I mean, I could do that. I could just like write a story with, it's like a guy, you went to place. That's the Odyssey.
I was about to say, one of the biggest problems I have with film criticism, and it's come up a bit recently when it comes to the Odyssey, and look, I'm a Nolan defender. I don't think he's like fucking Miyazaki. You know what I mean? He makes like popcorn films that are well shot and have interesting themes. He makes really interesting. He's sort of Spielbergian in that way, in that he makes like simple, approachable movies that feel imbued with like some stuff, and they've aspects of them that feel much lesser. You know what I mean? Like many of his movies, I walk away from, and they don't necessarily sit with me all that long. But a lot of people who like reading and writing have a lot of opinions on how to make a film, and those are different things. You know what I mean? Like you can of course critique things and critique narratives and have opinions on characters and this, that, and the other. But again, sometimes the way in which people talk about this stuff, there's a degree of arrogance or thinking that overextending how much they know how these things are done. When it comes to, I mean, this is literally why I stopped doing game criticism, because I was like, what the fuck do I know?
That's why I started making
shit.
fucking games.
Yeah,
like,
you had the opposite
point,
reaction.
Yeah. Well, at some point, it's like
you ran towards the fire. I ran away from it.
It's very easy to sit outside the ring and be like, I think Mike Tyson should have just punched him harder. You know, it's like fucking.
Exactly.
Why don't you get in there, pal? Why don't you take a few fucking punches and see how it goes?
Totally. And in Japan, they don't even they call him. It's M. Bison. It's the other way around. You know, they didn't have to swap it for copyright reasons. All right, we better leave it there. I have to go have lunch with Alex Austin. I think he's waiting for me. So apologies, Frank. We'll get to the rest of these emails next time around. Thank you all so much for supporting our work. Patreon.com/Noclip. Patreon.com/Noclip2. Go check out the Big Walk video, Big Shock video over on Noclip 2, and keep your eyes peeled for loads more comment here from the crew. Until then, see you next time.